Hello, friend. Today, in B1 English, my friend shares the worst dating story I've ever heard in my life. Reese is a travel vlogger from England. He went to the Philippines. He went on a date. He went to the police station. And that's just the beginning. This story is for adults. It is not for children.
So yeah, I was in the Philippines and I went over to Manila. So I decided I'm bored, as a guy does, and I went on Tinder just to have a scroll through.
But the Philippines does have a reputation around Southeast Asia. More dangerous.
Yeah. Now, Manila's the capital. Manila can be very scary, especially with what happened to me. I went on Tinder and I started to have a look. And I came across one profile and I matched with them. And they said, "Oh, we're only round the corner. We're chilling in our hotel. Me and my friend are bored if you want to come round." So I was like, "Yeah, okay, no worries. I'll come round." But this is a bit of an educational story. So I go round. I went into their room and the lights were switched off. They just had the TV on, so everything was a bit dark.
You couldn't fully see what they looked like.
Couldn't fully see.
You walked in and it was dark.
Yeah.
And just the TV was on.
Yeah, and then they two were sat there. It was a bit of like, you just couldn't see anything. And they were like, "Oh, do you want to jump in and just chill out?" I just laid on the bed. I still had my clothes on. And one of them decided to, they said, "Oh, do you want a bit of, do you like fun?" It's like, and next minute, the other one's touching me. From out of nowhere, she's like full on grabbing me, and like she puts her hand down my trousers. Now, while I'm in this moment, I'm looking at the one that I'm talking to, not the other one. And I'm a bit looking and thinking, I don't think that's a woman. And so I'm in this hotel room now, second guessing myself. I'm looking at this woman to not be a woman. And I'm starting to get a bit nervous. I look at the other one and think, I think that's a woman though. Again, I still could be wrong.
Yeah.
Next minute, two more people come into the room.
Whoa.
And I am now faced with four who I presume were all ladyboys. And they began to get violent very, very quickly and demand money. And one got a taser out and started...
So a taser is what the police use
normally
to shoot people, and it gives you like an electric shock, so you fall on the floor. It's how police officers electric shock people. A taser. So they got a taser out.
Yeah, and I'm not kidding you. The sound of a taser and the way it lit up the whole room was probably the scaredest moment of my life so far.
Because it was a dark room, just this electric, like lightning.
They had it. It was like a pen thing, and they just pressed the button, and it went, and the sound was scary.
I mean, you don't know how powerful their taser is.
Exactly. That's what scared me the most. They actually took my phone off me, went into my bank account, and transferred all my money out into their account. Luckily, I have separate bank accounts, and they stole about $1,000.
So they didn't taser
They didn't
you,
taser me.
but they got the taser out
That was enough to scare me.
and they scared you with it.
Yeah.
And then they said, "Give me your phone."
Yeah.
Yeah, mad. I'm sorry to hear that.
It's okay, you know. And so I left. I actually contacted the British Embassy because I was just a bit panicky.
Of course, yeah.
They were useless. So I was like, okay, I will ring the police. I rang the police. They came. They took me to the police station to write a statement. And I wrote this statement, and I was halfway through writing it, and they said, come, let's go now. And I was like, what's going off? They're still in the hotel. We're going to go and catch them.
Wow.
I thought, okay, great. And I didn't know why I was going with them. So we arrive at the hotel. We knocked on the door, and they opened the door, and the police and myself rushed in.
Wow.
And we caught them in the act. He was just sat there. Turns out he was an English guy as well. He was just about to get done.
Whoa.
I'll leave his name out because he didn't want to be mentioned previously when I made my video.
So they were on to the second victim
already
when you burst in with the police.
Yeah.
And he was in the same position as you in the bed.
He was sat on the bed.
Sat on the bed.
Yeah. Nothing had happened
Nothing
yet.
more had happened, yeah.
He was the most... And that's when I knew I did the right thing, because I just stopped them doing it to another victim. And he was so grateful, bless him. He was thanking me, saying, that's amazing. I explained what had happened to me that made him even more happier. So we go back to the police station, and now I'm sat there. They're there, but they don't look scared. And
yeah,
I'm stood there going, why aren't these guys scared? They're just sat there, and they're not bothered that they've been arrested. And I'm like, this is the Philippines. You get caught selling drugs and stuff like that. It's a death sentence.
And that unfortunately suggests that maybe they know the police, or they have their people in the police, or they're tied to a gang that can just get them out. No. That's my guess. You let me know.
Your guess was very, very accurate there. And sadly, I was sat in this police station, and they're telling me, they gave me a letter that said, can you sign this? And I had a look, and it said, I quickly read it, and it said that basically I would not prosecute. They were basically forcing me to sign a thing saying I won't prosecute.
The police
did.
Were making you do that.
And and they didn't really give me much of a choice. They weren't threatening, but they were like, you need to sign this.
So prosecute is to say someone has done a crime in front of the court, so then that person can go to jail or to prison or to have their punishment.
Yeah.
To prosecute, to do the process of going to the court. And Reese had to sign a piece of paper saying he would not prosecute, he would not press charges against these 4 people.
Then they still wanted money. Yes.
They wanted more money?
Well, the thing is that we agreed with the police that they would go to the cash machine and withdraw the cash and give me it. And all of a sudden, the money's now on the table, which was less. So I didn't get all my money back. And it was probably more like $800 or $900, or probably just over $900. I'm sat there going, okay, cool, give me my money, and I go, and that's it. And then you guys deal with them, even though I knew that nothing was going to be dealt because they're not scared. They're all of a sudden wanting 10,000 of that money. So of the 60,000 I got back, they want 10,000, $150.
Who, the police?
No.
The 4?
The hookers, basically.
The lady boys.
Yeah.
The 4
ladyboy hookers.
Ladyboy hooker criminals.
Yeah.
But why did they want that 150?
They now-
what's their
Well, they said
reason?
that I agreed for their services. Basically, they wanted me to pay the ladyboys because then the police would take their cut off the ladyboys. And then they told me to make an agreement with them. And I'm like, I'm at this point, I'm getting angry. I was really shy and timid at first. There's one that sat there just going, no, I want my money and I'm not scared of you. And I'm like, look, I never paid for anything. I've not asked for your services. I didn't even sleep with anybody. And you want $150? Oh, well, come back to my hotel now then. You want me to go to the hotel with you? The police are looking at me like, are you going to go? Are you going to go? Like, no, I'm not going to go. Like, this is the one that had the taser up against me.
What?
Honestly, this was so crazy. And I just now get so angry, and I stand up and I start getting really, really aggressive. I mean, I'm nearly like going to hit one of them because I'm just so angry. And I think the police realise this at this point and realise they're not getting anything. Because I was even telling them to shush. Like, I was in the argument. They tried to shut me up and I went, shush. And I shut them down. And then I realised I had the control. Because these are corrupt police. And if they were caught, then they're in big trouble. Captain, he was so corrupt. And he was a disgusting person. And he did not make me feel comfortable at all. But after the argument, they told them to go. Oh, I tell you what, I missed one key thing. This is where it gets worse. When I have to write all my details, this, that, and the other, I had to say my hotel name in front of them.
Oh, what?
So I have to tell them my address. And I've just said, I can't believe you've just made me do that. And they're like, what? And they're like, well, I've just said my address in front of them. Oh, you'll be fine. And they know that I won't be, and they don't care. And so anyway, we leave. I go back to my hostel. I can't really sleep. I've not slept all night. It's like 5 a.m. I went downstairs and I just immediately said, I'm leaving. And they were like, oh, you've still got 2 nights left. I'm like, I'm leaving. No way that I'm staying here. And I ended up leaving and going to the other side of Manila. And then I met a lovely English couple. One was English, one was South African. They were the nicest couple ever. And they said, oh, we're going to Cebu as well, if you want to grab a taxi with us. And I was like, after the week I've had, I was like, yes. All right, let's just go. Let me get out of here. And then I told them the story. And they were like, okay, yeah, let's just get out. We went to the airport, we booked a flight, and we headed to Cebu and spent the day with them and had a really wonderful day. And they definitely made me feel a lot better. But Cebu was lovely.
So to summarise your mad story, you're on Tinder.
Yeah.
You met 2 people in a room, in a dark room. And then 2 more people came, one of them with a taser. And then it, whatever, started to flash the taser and forced you to give your phone to them. They then transferred about $1,000 from your account into their account. Then you went to the police. The police went into the room and arrested everyone.
Yeah.
You all went to the police station together, and the 4 criminals didn't look scared at all.
Yep.
This is something that obviously they've experienced before, being in the police station. Then you had to sign a document saying you would not prosecute, press charges, and you felt you were forced to.
Oh, yeah, they were like pushing it in front of my face. You want to sign this?
And then after that, the criminal ladyboys, they then started to ask you for $150
Yeah.
for their time.
Yeah.
And then the police at that point.
Well, they were
Is that
encouraging me to pay. They were basically,
Really?
oh yeah, they were basically saying, oh, you know, why don't you just pay them and then this is the end of it. I'm like, they're criminals. I'm looking past the fact that you're letting them go, but now you're actually considering that I should pay $150, which is crazy, by the way.
To be threatened and to be robbed.
Yeah, like
$150.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
exactly. And then to have the ladyboy then turn around and say, why don't we go back and we can finish off? I'm like, what? First of all, no. Second of all, you have literally robbed me with a taser. Like, I am frightened of my life right now because you've got hormones and testosterone running through you, like, which makes you batshit crazy.
And clearly she has nothing to lose.
Like, exactly. Like, and that's the scary thing is, like, because of how corrupt the police were, they're not scared. And they were immune in a way. They were, you know, they just have to pay the police. That's all the police want. However, if this would have started with the police saying to me, if you want us to resolve it, you need to pay us a bit of money and we'll resolve everything for you and get your money back, I would have said, great, absolutely. And they would have got more money. They would have been happier. However, I did have to pay them on the way back. When they dropped me off, they said, oh yeah, we don't work for free, by the way. They actually said those words in the car. And they were laughing and joking about it, but I didn't really say anything. I got 2,000 Filipino pesos, which is about £30. And I pulled that out of my pocket, gave it them, and got out of the car and walked away. Overall, bad experience. However, I will not judge the whole of the Philippines just because Manila is not a very safe place. So I will go back to the Philippines probably next year.
Reese has a absolutely fantastic travel channel. TikTok is the main one, or is it on different?
My TikTok is Reese Around the World, and it's Reese is spelled RHYS.
It'll be in the description.
Yes.
In the description, I'll put his links. Follow him as he travels around the world, having these mad experiences and sharing the stories, just like he told us, the insane.
They're going to get more insane,
and they're going to get more insane. So enjoy his channel. See you later. Take care. Have a beautiful week.
Thank you.
Can you understand this podcast but cannot speak like this? Try my app, Coffee Chat English. Link in the description.